the global order is shifting. Power dynamics that once seemed set in stone are now being questioned and reimagined. For decades, Western-led institutions like the World Bank and IMF set the rules for global finance and development, shaping the destinies of nations. But now, BRICS is rewriting the script, offering a new vision for international cooperation. Originally just an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and later South Africa, BRICS has evolved from a simple economic concept into a powerful geopolitical bloc with real influence on the world stage. Today, BRICS is building an alternative to the Western order, offering developing nations new choices for partnership and development, without the usual political strings attached. This approach is especially appealing to countries seeking more independence in their growth. The group's institutions, like the new Development Bank, provide financing outside the traditional Western framework, supporting infrastructure and innovation in emerging economies. BRICS champions a multipolar world, amplifying the voices of the global South and advocating for fairer representation in global decision-making. Its recent expansion is strategic, bringing in new members and increasing its global influence. The addition of new countries signals a growing desire for a more balanced world order. The expanded BRICS Plus now represents a larger share of the world's population, GDP, and critical resources, making it a formidable force in global economics and politics. This is a direct challenge to the unipolar world that followed the Cold War, signaling a shift toward a more diverse and competitive international system. For many, BRICS is about strategic autonomy, diversifying partnerships, strengthening regional ties, and reducing reliance on any single power or bloc. It's not just anti-Western, it's about balance and equity in global affairs, striving for a system where all voices are heard and respected. As more countries show interest, BRICS is becoming a true center of gravity in international relations, attracting attention from governments and analysts worldwide. The world is watching as a new era of multipolarity takes shape, and the future of global power is being redefined before our eyes. Turkey has long straddled East and West, NATO member, EU aspirant, and regional power in the Middle East. But stalled EU talks and Western frustrations pushed Ankara to seek new alliances. In 2025, Turkey's foreign minister signaled real interest in joining BRICS, seeing it as a way to diversify economic ties and assert strategic autonomy. For President Erdogan, BRICS offered leverage, balancing relations with both Brussels and Washington. The move was about more than economics. It was a statement of independence. Yet joining a bloc with Russia and China while remaining in NATO raised tough questions about Turkey's allegiances. Could Turkey truly have a foot in both camps, or would this pivot force a break with the West? The desire was clear: escape Western constraints and embrace new opportunities. But as Turkey soon discovered, joining BRICS would be anything but simple. The path to the new club was fraught with complexity and risk. In 2024, BRICS expanded dramatically, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE into its ranks, marking a pivotal moment in the group's history. This expansion was not just a symbolic gesture, it was a calculated move to reshape the global balance of power and amplify the voices of emerging economies. The momentum continued as Indonesia, Southeast Asia's largest economy, joined in 2025, further strengthening the bloc's influence and reach. This wasn't just about numbers, it was a strategic leap, making BRICS plus a bloc, representing 45% of the world's population and over a third of the global economy. The group's collective economic and demographic weight now rivals that of any other alliance on the planet. With major oil producers like Iran and the UAE joining, BRICS Plus gained unprecedented influence over global energy markets, and with control over key trade routes like the Suez Canal, the group can now shape the flow of goods and resources between continents. BRICS now wields real leverage in energy and trade, giving its members a stronger voice in international negotiations and the ability to set new terms for global commerce. Indonesia's entry extended the bloc's reach into Southeast Asia, connecting BRICS Plus to one of the world's most dynamic and rapidly growing regions. The expansion transformed BRICS from a loose group into a formidable coalition spanning multiple continents, uniting diverse cultures, economies, and political systems under a shared vision. Its diversity strengthens its claim to represent the global South, giving a platform to countries often overlooked in global decision-making. This unity enables robust South-South cooperation, fostering new partnerships and development opportunities across continents. The new development bank can now fund more ambitious projects, reducing reliance on Western finance, and empowering member nations to pursue their own development agendas. Politically, BRICS Plus signals a commitment to a more inclusive, multipolar world order, where power is shared and diverse perspectives are valued. The message is clear: global power is no longer concentrated in the West. The world is witnessing a shift as new leaders and alliances rise to shape the future. A new, diverse coalition is ready to lead, forging a path toward a more balanced and representative global order. Turkey's interest in BRICS sent shockwaves through Europe, highlighting growing disillusionment with Western institutions. Ankara's frustration with the EU made BRICS look like a real alternative, raising the question: if Turkey is looking east, who might follow? While no EU state has formally applied, many are quietly exploring new partnerships to gain strategic autonomy. For some, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, ties with BRICS offer leverage and economic opportunity. This isn't about abandoning the EU, but hedging bets in a changing world. The trend challenges the EU's identity as the ultimate destination for its neighbors. BRICS's expansion is a wake-up call. The EU must adapt or risk losing relevance. The world is no longer defined by Western dominance alone. Turkey's BRICS ambitions quickly hit a wall: internal resistance from within the bloc. China favored Turkey's entry, seeing a chance to expand influence and challenge the West. But India, wary of Turkey's NATO ties, strongly opposed the move, fearing it would compromise BRICS's strategic autonomy. India's independent foreign policy and concerns about importing NATO politics led to a firm veto. The disagreement exposed deeper rifts. China wants a more anti-Western bloc, while India seeks balance, not confrontation. BRICS's consensus model meant India's opposition was decisive. Turkey was offered only a lesser partner status, which Ankara rejected. The episode revealed the limits of BRICS expansion and the decisive role of founding members' security interests. Despite unity on multipolarity, the bloc's members have very different visions for its future. Washington took notice of BRICS's rise, especially with Trump's return to the White House in 2025. The administration saw BRICS as a direct threat and responded with economic pressure. Threats of sweeping tariffs, up to 100%, were aimed at countries aligning with BRICS or supporting a rival reserve currency. For Turkey, this meant weighing the benefits of BRICS against the risk of devastating U.S. sanctions. Erdogan's relationship with Trump complicated matters, as Turkey's fragile economy couldn't withstand a trade war. The U.S. forced countries to choose sides, ending the era of balancing between Washington and its rivals. For aspiring BRICS members, the stakes had never been higher. The expansion of BRICS became a high-stakes geopolitical showdown. Beyond internal BRICS politics and U.S. pressure, regional conflict sealed Turkey's fate. Turkey's support for Pakistan on Kashmir had long angered India. After a deadly attack in Kashmir in 2025, India accused Turkey of supplying military aid to Pakistan, deepening distrust. India retaliated by blocking Turkish business deals and strengthening ties with Turkey's rivals. For India, admitting Turkey to BRICS was now unthinkable. The Kashmir flashpoint turned Turkey from potential partner to adversary in New Delhi's eyes. India's security concerns became paramount, killing Turkey's BRICS ambitions. Regional tensions proved decisive in shutting the door. The BRICS expansion and Turkey's failed bid signal a fundamental shift in global politics. The world is witnessing a reordering of power as new alliances and ambitions reshape the international landscape. This is not just a momentary shift, but a transformation that will have lasting consequences for decades to come. Multipolarity is no longer theory, it's reality. With BRICS Plus emerging as a major pole of influence, power is now distributed across several centers, each with its own interests and priorities, making the global order more dynamic and unpredictable. The bloc's appeal to countries as diverse as Iran, Indonesia, and Turkey shows its vision resonates widely. BRICS Plus offers an alternative to the established Western-led system, attracting nations seeking greater autonomy and a stronger voice in global affairs. Global politics is now defined by competition, complexity, and pragmatic alliances. Countries are forging new partnerships based on shared interests rather than ideology, leading to a more flexible and adaptive international system. BRICS unites democracies and autocracies not by shared values, but by a common desire to challenge Western dominance. This coalition is driven by a shared sense of purpose, to create a more balanced and inclusive world order. For the EU, this is a wake-up call. Its model is no longer the only option. The rise of BRICS Plus means the EU must rethink its strategies and adapt to a world where influence is more widely contested. The EU must adapt, strengthen internal cohesion, and engage rising powers on equal terms. Building new bridges and finding common ground will be essential for maintaining relevance and influence. The Western-led order's monopoly is over, but not its influence. The West still holds significant economic, technological, and military power, but it must now share the stage with new actors. The 21st century will be shaped by many centers of power, not just one. This new era will require greater cooperation, negotiation, and understanding among nations. The challenge for the EU and others is to find their place in this crowded, complex world. Navigating this environment will demand flexibility, innovation, and a willingness to engage with diverse perspectives. BRICS' rise is not the end of the West, but the start of a new global balance. The future will be defined by how these powers interact, compete, and cooperate. The world is entering an era where influence must be earned, not assumed. Success will depend on dialogue, mutual respect, and the ability to adapt to a rapidly changing global landscape.